sweatshirt layout. First of all, you're going to need to get your pattern pieces. You're going to need the front, the back, and make sure that they're the same sizes. You're going to need one sleeve because you're going to cut that twice, one hood, and the pocket. I like to use pocket size B, otherwise the other ones are too big, but if you want a bigger pocket, then take one of the other sizes. So the first thing we need to do is we are going to do a double fold of our material, good sides together. So here's one side. You want to make sure that the distance at the top and the bottom are the same distance, and that's going to allow you to follow the grain line. As well, when you place your first piece on there, you want to make sure that it's not too far, that you're not wasting so much material. So I'm going to pull this one in a bit. And then again down here. Okay, and then you can do some measuring as well. There we go. You don't have to do your double fold right away on the other one. It might just be easier to start with one. I'm just going to show you when both are done so I can show you the full layout right away. All right, now I am ready. On your pattern pieces is going to have a sign where it says place on fold with a double arrow. You want to make sure that those are placed directly on the fold line, right from the top down to the bottom. And same with this one here. So that's where your front and your back are going to be placed. I would suggest you just cut out one, then come back and grab the other one, because we're probably not going to have enough time to cut both out. After you've done that, then your sleeve pattern would come. And your sleeve pattern would then come underneath it. Okay? We just want to make sure that we have enough material. If you're going to lengthen your front, you need to lengthen your back, and you need to do that before your sleeve is cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pin my front and my back. I'm not going to add to the length because this is a test sample so that you guys can try it on to make sure it fits. And if you want to lengthen it, you're going to make those adjustments, and I'll show you, but I won't actually do it. So right here is where you are going to place your pattern directly on the fold, and you're going to pin the fold area first. Then go ahead and start pinning the rest. You just want to tap it in place. You don't want to pull it, otherwise it's going to pull your material as well. Keep all the heads of the pins inside the cutting area, except your notch. And this one has one notch by the sleeve area. And we're going to make sure that that pin is facing out so that it reminds us that we need to cut that. And then I'm going to do exactly the same to the other one. My notch. So now I pinned those. If I were to lengthen this, I'm going to take my quilting ruler, and on your quilting ruler they have your 1-inch measurements. I'm going to line it up right along the bottom, and let's say I want to only increase by 1 inch. I would line up this part of the straight part of the 1-inch line with the bottom, and then I would draw my line across and then blend that up into the original line. So I'm going to draw it, but I'm not going to cut this line. So there's my 1 inch. I've added 1 inch here, and now I want to just bring that line straight down. So I've added 1 inch here. Now you would do exactly the same thing on the front side. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut those guys out. When you're cutting, keep your hand on your pattern piece and use the back or the back part of your scissors. If your scissors aren't very sharp, go and get new ones. So you can see I'm not just cutting all the way around, I'm cutting in an area so that it's easy for me to reach and I'm not crossing over my body at all. So here's my notch. I'm just going to cut that out, give a little triangle. And there is my front cut out. Now I'm going to do my back. I'm not adding the inch, so I'm just going to cut straight across. Now I've done my back and I've done my front. I'm ready to unpin it and I'm going to mark it. Place this back into the box. Take your green tape and write on your green tape back or front, whichever one it is, and just place it on the wrong side. And you're going to do the same to the other side. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut my sleeve. On the sleeve it also has a place on fold, and so you're going to place that directly on the fold. Now, most of us are going to need to increase the sleeve length. This pattern tends to have quite short sleeves, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to increase this by 2 inches. There's my notch as well. So how we're going to increase this is exactly what we did on our sample, our paper sample. I'm first going to increase my line of 2 inches. So again, taking my quilting ruler, I'm lining it up. There's 1 inch, 2 inch, and I'm going to draw a straight line across. Now I'm going to take the bottom of my quilting ruler and I'm going to line it up with the edge of the bottom of the pattern. I'm going to hang on to the bottom of my quilting ruler and I'm going to rotate it until it's up at the top. And I'm going to redraw my line. Now I should have the same distance here to here, and I've increased 2 inches. Once you've done it once, you're going to use your material as your pattern piece and do it on this other side. So now I can take my pattern off and I'm going to label it as a sleeve. Now I'm going to use this pattern piece and I'm going to go directly to the other side and I'm going to pin this one on and cut it. So I'm allowed to flip it over. I want to make sure that I keep my folded line to my folded side here. And now I don't need to add anything because I've already done it once and this is my pattern. Don't forget to pin your notch. And then you can go ahead and cut it. So now I have my 2 sleeves. Oops. There, 2 sleeves. The last ones that I need to do are my hood and my pocket. The pocket you can wait to the end and we can use the bits of material that we haven't used in the middle. I'm going to start just trimming off some of these little bits here because those just get in the way. And we're going to recycle those. Now the hood is slightly different. And with the hood, again it says place on fold. But if we take a look at the grain line, it's running up and down. And if you look really, really closely, you're gonna have these ribs that are running up and down the fabric, and they're gonna have little V's, and the V's are either gonna go upside down or the right way up. If we place this pattern like we placed everything else along the fold line, what's gonna happen is when we open this up, because this is the top of the hood, your V's are actually going to be running around your head and the rest of the body is running up and down. We don't want that. It doesn't look professional. So we want the V's, everything running up and down. So how we need to place this one is we're going to open up our material and we're actually going to fold it up from the bottom. So if we take this and we fold it up from the bottom, and we place our fold down here, now our V's are all running up and down the body. Okay. Again, you want to try to stay so that everything is nice and straight. Okay. And I'm going to cut this twice because our hoods have an outer hood and an inner hood. So again, placing that directly on the fold line. Try not to waste too much material. Move that over. We always want a bit of extra material just in case we make a mistake or we cut something incorrectly or we lose a piece of ours. Now we have enough material to hopefully piece together what we have miscut. There's a notch down here and that notch is important. It's going to match up with your shoulder seam. And you can see here the grain line wants to run up and down. Do not cut where it says place on fold. Okay, unpin it and you're going to do it again. You could use your first one as another template, but I didn't cut very well here, so I might as well use this. If lots of people are waiting, then go ahead and use your original one. And now the very last thing that I need to do is my pocket. I'll cut off these little scraggles as well. Those. And my pocket, I can probably fit up here. Again, it has a place on fold. So I'm going to go good sides together. And I'm going to place it on the fold. Let's say you folded it the other direction. But the fold line is here so that you can read all of the writing. You're allowed to flip your pattern piece upside down. Okay, so you can do that. Sometimes we just fold things slightly differently and we can just place the pattern upside down, which is absolutely fine. Just make sure you're following that place on fold. And there's my last piece, which is my pocket. Now on the pocket, you're going to notice there's this dotted line. And you're going to need to interface your pocket. And we're going to do that later when I show you the construction of it. But that's what this dotted line is. We don't need to mark it on our pattern piece because it's going to be this section here so that when it folds over, it's going to look like that. So your pocket's actually going to fold over so that when it's on your sweatshirt, that's where your hands are going to go through.